Hello, my witches and warlocks, sick and tired here. And today we are going to be reading another viewer submission. But first, of course, our clip of the day.
Next up,
Why would you do that?
to get the garlic in the ketchup and make it garlic ketchup.
What about the people who don't want them mixed?
It's my fries. I order them.
I'll remember that.
You said you didn't want them.
I'll remember that. No. I'll remember that. I'll remember.
So he's mad that she put garlic in her ketchup for her fries that she was eating. This is kind of funny because it reminds me of a video I came across the other day. Now, I am in the minority big time for this, but it was, is this a red flag? And it was girls eating off of their boyfriend's plates or wanting a bite of their food, and the boyfriend's getting mad, being like,
No, you should have ordered your own. You should have got your own. No, I'm not sharing with you.
and I'm just like, that is so weird to me. Since me and my husband started dating, we always just eat off each other's plate if we want to. Like, even our drinks, we'll just like drink out of each other's drinks. He'll literally have a burger on his plate and I'll just reach across, grab it, and take a bite. And same with him. We've shared literally everything. Everything. I knew this couple too. They were married. They didn't share anything. And her husband had a plate of food and he had fries and she reached over to grab one. And he got so mad, he shoved the plate at her and he was like,
Just take the fries. Just take all the fries.
me and my husband are just sitting there like, well, I'm like cutting his steak to take a bite. All right, so let's get into our submission here. Get yourself something to drink and get comfortable. I, Lex, recently found your channel, and it's genuinely helping me figure out just how horrible my parents are and were when I was a kid. Now, I do know a lot of horrible things from my childhood aren't their fault. We were in a lower class, so we lived in motels that my dad worked at. My dad had a concussion when he was a teenager, so we all kind of chalked his anger issues up to that. But both you and my boyfriend have been helping me figure out that even if that was the case, it's still not okay. For simplicity, I can separate some of the stories I have of them in separate sections. I remember as a kid when I was in second grade, my teacher told my parents I may need glasses. My dad, instead of taking me to the eye doctor like a normal parent, he asked me to read something off the computer. I tried my best to read it and I didn't do it fast enough for him, so he pushed my head up against the computer. This is something I completely blocked out of my memory until recently. When I was in the third grade, I also got a rash. My parents sent me to school day one with that rash. I get sent home. The next day, I was sent back to school and then home again. They sent me to school again the very next day, and my teacher threatened to call CPS if they didn't take me to a doctor. They did take me to a doctor, and they told me that I was in charge of taking my own medicine completely on my own because they were so bitter. How old were you? You were in the third grade, and you were, oh my gosh, you had to administer your own medicine? That is a huge no-no. That's incredibly dangerous. No child should be handling medicine at all. Even if they probably could do it better than these parents. My teacher in fifth grade asked my parents to get me tested for ADHD since I was having trouble remembering to do homework. She specifically told me that I likely do have ADHD. My parents were offended and told me that she needs to stay out of our business. My mom would constantly talk about how much of a failure I am. She got mad at me because I completely forgot to clean a cup and started telling me I can't do anything right. My dad yelled at me all the time because I ate very slowly to him and kept telling me to eat faster. For the life of me, I can't remember if there was anything physical. I feel like I have a vague memory of something, but I can't tell you for sure. It did mean I do have issues with eating. I feel like I have to eat quickly, even though currently I'm having wisdom teeth pain. My dad one day came into mine and my sister's room, saw that there was a virus on the computer. He immediately blamed me. I only went on YouTube during this time, but it was automatically my fault for whatever reason. I started crying and trying to tell him I hadn't even been on the computer for at least a week. He said,
Well, how do you know that for sure?
I told him I don't know which one of my siblings did it, but I know it wasn't me. Eventually, he started yelling at me for lying. My dad would occasionally just walk into mine and my sister's room and see what we were doing, make a judgmental comment, and then leave. Got to the point where both me and her are self-conscious about what we are doing on our computers. I stopped watching YouTube completely when he was around. When I was 14, I started getting my wisdom teeth. I was crying in class because my teeth hurt so bad. The school told my parents to take me to a dentist, and they did do it, but they were bitter about it. You know, I still have all my wisdom teeth, and someone made me feel really bad about it when I used to work at Kroger. She worked there for like a week. It was like,
You have your wisdom teeth?
I'm like, yeah. She's like,
When my kids were 16, I had them go in and get rid of their wisdom teeth.
and I think I was like 25, and I was like, I don't even have my wisdom teeth yet. My wisdom teeth never came in until like after after the age of 25. And I think one of them still has not come up yet. So my dentist told me, he's like, there's really, if they're not bothering you, there's really no reason to cut them out to get rid of them. They haven't really messed up your teeth or anything. So if they start giving you problems, we will. But just a fun fact about me, I have my wisdom teeth, all of them. The dentist told them that I will need my wisdom teeth taken out. My dad had said afterwards that,
They always say that. I still have mine. You're fine.
oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that mine never came in until I was much older. So I didn't need to have mine taken out. If you need to have yours taken out and they're hurting you, get them taken out. Oh, that was so weird. My teachers on the bright side were all told about the diagnosis and were treating me very differently, very empathetic, which I wasn't used to. There is a lot of medical neglect for me. I probably fractured my heel when I was 15, and instead of taking me to the hospital, my dad took one look at it, said,
You can't break your heel. It's just bruised.
and I couldn't put any pressure on it. If I put the slightest bit of pressure on it, I fell over. He legitimately had to carry me from one room to another, and yet he said I was milking it for attention. This has happened to me. I am so sorry to interrupt again. This has actually happened to me. I broke my wrist when I was like 12 or 13 years old, pretending to be Lara Croft. I was like climbing over a fence and went in and cried, telling my mom I was in so much pain. And she was like,
Oh no, it's fine. You probably just heard it.
she was drunk. We were at a friend's house. She didn't want to leave. She ended up taking me to my pediatrician. This was like 2 to 3 days after I broke my wrist. And they did an x-ray and yeah, they were like, her wrist is broken. Now that I'm older, I cannot believe that she didn't face any type of punishment for it. My parents also took me to a doctor to be put on birth control when I was 16. They said since I had a boyfriend, they wanted me to be safe. They never let me go anywhere though, so it didn't really make any sense to me. I ended up getting sick before the appointment. My mother told the doctor,
Of course she gets a cold right before a doctor appointment.
the doctor said, oh, that's okay. We'll just check to see if it's bronchitis. It was bronchitis. She said I couldn't breathe very well and put me on a nebulizer. She also called me tough, which made me feel good. Anytime there was something medically wrong with my brother, they immediately took him to the hospital. I just never got the same treatment, ultimately because I am a middle child. Both of my parents told me and my sister growing up not to talk to counselors at school about our home life. Ooh, My brother saw that my dad was calling me a freak, so he started doing it to an extreme. I kept asking him to stop and he wouldn't. Eventually, I just started sobbing because he wouldn't stop. My dad told him,
You should stop calling her a freak because she's too sensitive.
yeah, she's so sensitive. Who would have known that she wouldn't like being called names? Girls. My first ever sleepover happened when I was 19, and I told my parents it was something for college. The second one was the same thing, except this time I was instead with my boyfriend, and this happened when I was 21. They knew that I was trying to move out, and they blocked me from learning to drive. The only way I was allowed to learn is when my boyfriend paid for lessons. I was 22. When I told my parents I was moving out, they had told me the only way they'd let me move out is if I promised to come visit them once a week. Oh, hell no! I was 23 and they live an hour away from where I do. Oh, no! No, 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 no. You're 23 years old. You can move out if you want to, and you don't owe them a damn thing. My mother is a master at manipulation. She's constantly guilting us into doing whatever she wants. When I still lived there, we had our D&D night. D&D? Wait, your parents aren't cool enough to play D&D. I hated it. There were days I just wanted to go to bed early since I had to wake up at 5 a.m. for work the next morning. I was told that wasn't important and that we had to play D&D because my mother has no friends and she's lonely. Wow, that surprises me. Due to the constant driving back and forth from my place to theirs, my car actually broke down and I had to spend $650 to fix it. My dad texted me saying I was overcharged and that it's an hour fix, basically explaining what all needs to be done to fix it. Also said,
Next time, don't go to that mechanic.
he's not a mechanic, he's not a doctor. Yeah, but they always think they know more than the mechanics and the doctors, don't they? Since I was a kid, there would be a noise in the back of my neck when I was hungry. I would explain it as spinal fluid making noises. Huh? I told my parents as a kid and they said,
That's not true. That's not happening. It's in your head.
it wasn't until my boyfriend heard it and felt genuine concern. I told him it's done that since I was a kid. He asked his dad about it. His dad is a doctor. His dad said, yeah, it's normal for some people. What? I have never heard that. There's just a noise in the back of your neck when you're hungry? Like your stomach's growling and you can hear it like in your ears? That's so interesting. My parents are also constantly patting themselves on the back and rubbing it in my face that I had an boyfriend in high school, and that they'd suspect that there was some messed up stuff that he did to me, but that they helped me out of the situation. They keep telling me how they're right about these things. They still bring him up years later. They also weren't the main ones helping me. It was my best friend. There's probably a lot more that I'm missing, but I typed all of this out at work. I appreciate being able to trauma dump about my parents. I have to have a very serious conversation with them soon, telling them I can't do weekly trips anymore due to my car, and I do hope I can go low contact soon. You are still doing these trips? Okay, I need an update. I want to know, like, what the hell? I can't even believe that. My anxiety for you right now is like through the roof. I can't imagine having to go through all of this crap and then still having to go see my parents every week when they're this awful. Does your mom force you to play D&D every single time you go over there? So much of the stuff you said, we have seen on this channel a lot. The medical neglect, the treating the other siblings better, telling you not to tell anybody what's going on. I'm really sorry all of that happened to you. Just know that you are among friends. A lot of us here have experienced the same things that you've gone through. So you have somewhere to go when you're, feeling upset. So that is it for our viewer submission today. Please don't forget to leave some supportive and kind words. And if you have some advice for our friend here, down below in the comments. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I hope your magic is strong. I hope your symptoms are low. I love you guys.